I'm Claire Novak, joined by Frank Angst today on that handicapping show. Frank, we're here at beautiful Belmont Park to talk about the Belmont Stakes. 3-year-olds going for the final jewel of the Triple Crown. There will be no Triple Crown potential this year, but we have the Kentucky Derby winner Orb and the Preakness winner Oxbow headed for a rematch, as well as a bunch of other horses coming in to make some attempts at getting the money. 14 entered in the 1.5 mile classic, and Frank and I are both going to pick Orb, but we'll talk about some other horses as well. First of all, as far as Orb is concerned, my view on the matter is you can't throw a horse out for one bad performance.
Yeah, I still like Orb. I mean, he ran great races in Florida. He ran a great Kentucky Derby. The Pimlico race, the Preakness Stakes, obviously a little inexplicable, but now he's back on his home track. He's probably going to be back on an off track. It's been a beautiful few days here, but we're expecting significant rain on Friday, so things could change a lot in the next few days.
That's right. And with Orb, you know, in the Preakness, he drew the one post, and this is a horse that it has been said he needs to get out in the clear, just let him do his thing. You know, getting bottled up on the rail doesn't really give him a chance to run. So I think as far as this race is concerned, he drew post 5, and we're probably going to see a little bit better performance from him.
Yeah, the 1.5 mile setup really gives you the jockey an opportunity to pick out the spot where he wants to be in this race. So I really can't foresee a circumstance where he gets in trouble. Of course, that said, a lot can happen in racing, but he's on his home track. I really feel like he's going to bounce back to the top level performance that we've seen from him.
All right, so both of us sticking with Orb. And what do you think about Oxbow, the Preakness winner, coming in here and trying to go from Preakness to the Belmont?
You know, Wayne Lucas feels like Oxbow really reached a new level in the Preakness and really figured some things out mentally. He says he's going to be saddling a much mentally sharper horse for this race than he did for the Preakness. So I really expect Oxbow to run another big race here as well. I could see him hitting the board for sure.
Now, see, for me, I've been bashing Oxbow all year, and obviously bashing him didn't go so good for me in the Preakness because he won. I'm not sure if I just see him coming back in here, so I'm not going to go with Oxbow, which is no surprise because I haven't gone with Oxbow all year, and that was my bad because he did win the Preakness. But a horse that I do like in here that I am going to give consideration to, actually there's 2 of them, I'm going back to the Derby form. I'm going to look at Revolutionary, and I'm going to look at Golden Soul. The one thing I like about Revolutionary is he's ultra consistent. He always comes with his run. This horse has so much heart. He's so game. Go back, watch the Withers, watch the Louisiana Derby, watch the Kentucky Derby. He always comes with a run, and he always delivers. And speaking of always coming with a run, Golden Soul, who was second in the Derby, is a horse. If you go back, I looked at all of his PPs from maiden all the way up until his second in the Derby. This horse always improves his position. He closes, and when he finishes, he's always positions ahead of where he was at the beginning. He doesn't really get headed or passed. He's just, sometimes he hasn't been able to catch the front runners. So those are 2 that I'm going to look at to complete my trifecta. What about you?
Another horse that I'm going to look at is Palace Malice. I really like the way the horse ran in the slop down at Gulfstream Park. The Derby, just like we're tossing the Preakness for Orb, I'm going to toss the Derby for Palace Malice. I think they took a shot strategy-wise there.
Yeah.
I'm not real concerned about that outing. I think he gets back to top form here. Todd Pletcher is clearly focused on this race, starting 5 horses. So I think I look for a big race from Palace Malice.
All right, and I'm going to mention 2 long shots that will obviously improve should it be rainy, which it's expected to do. The first one is Freedom Child. He won't be as much of a long shot. He's kind of the buzz horse here. He won the Peter Pan Stakes by 13 1/4 lengths, just kind of freaked on the slop on the sealed track. And so that's a horse that if it's pouring down rain and the track is sealed, I would definitely give more consideration to him. If we have a track that we had kind of like the Derby where it's a little bit more sticky, it's had some moisture in it, but then it stopped raining and stuff like that, I would potentially think that, you know, Orb or one of those other guys who ran it well on that type of track in the Derby would run well here. My long shot pick that I am going to look at somehow, and maybe it might just be, you know, throwing down $2 just because, Giant Finish. I actually think this horse surprised trainer Tony Dutrow when he finished 10th in the Derby, and, you know, whatever. I like the way he looks on the track. I like the way that he was training this morning. It's just something about the way he appears that I like. So that's what I'm going to go with as far as my guy out of the ones where you look at him here and are like, okay.
Yeah, I've really tried to look at horses that have the breeding to get 1.5 miles. I'm going to put Orb on top. Underneath, Oxbow, Palace Malice, and I think Overanalyze as well, another Todd Pletcher horse. Those will be my 3 horses underneath. I like the breeding of all 3 of them. I also think they'll handle the slop.
Hearing a lot about Overanalyze, so we'll see what happens there. As far as the weather is concerned, our friend Josh McKinney has put together a little bit of information for us, and here's a quick synopsis of how the weather could unfold. Tropical storm Andrea will pass near Long Island on Friday, but heavy rain and gusty winds expected all day Friday. Saturday could start soggy, but rain should diminish by early to mid-afternoon, and it should remain breezy through the race. So hopefully the track gets a little bit better, gets a chance to dry out if that rain comes through, and we get a nice day for the actual part of the race.
If they get sun, and they typically do get wind here, this is one of the fastest drying tracks. So everyone will really have to keep their eye on the track conditions on Saturday just to see exactly what we get.
All right, Frank Angst and I wrapping it up here at Belmont Park. We haven't picked all 14 horses, so hopefully we did okay giving you guys some thoughts for your selections. Wishing you the best of luck, and thanks as always to Briss for the PPs. Have a great weekend, everybody.